Hi, everyone. How are you? What is with all the letters? All right, who's going to be first to let me know that this is that this is working and that you can hear me? Anyone? Benjamin Shepard said hi. Wonderful. I'm glad you can hear me. Yeah, I know. I'm late. But by how much? I believe I was only about a minute or so behind the clock. And considering this is the first scheduled live stream I've ever done, I say cut me some slack. You can all hear me. Great. And is the quality, I'm sure the quality is not as good as it is on the videos, but 40 seconds late, 2 minutes late, that's close enough to a consensus. The timing of this sounds, the timing, the sound quality sounds all right to everybody. It's pretty good. Okay, well, thank you very much. Well, while I apologize to the European and Asian sections of the audience, or subscribers, that is, who are probably in bed right now, we'll just have to host an American audience exclusively. Let's see here. Daniel Ortiz. The quality is fantastic because it's a counter argument. Get out of here. Well, there's been, for those of you who don't know, there have been a couple of live streams before on this channel. They were not scheduled. They were not promoted. They're currently unlisted. They were much like the premiere that occurred today. They were just experiments. The first time you do something, or the first few times you do something, you might expect it to be clumsy. So I believe this is about the third live stream that's ever happened on this channel. And to be honest, I'm still getting the hang of it, but in concept, it's not that difficult. And the idea behind this particular stream is to discuss the latest video uploaded to the channel. Now, that's the hope. What's actually going to happen is that there's going to be Fortnite comments in the chat and all sorts of other inside jokes that I don't get, that don't questions about my pants size. Oh, out of curiosity, somebody wants to know if this is a live. Is this a live stream? What if Counter Arguments is actually dead? Then it is a dead stream. Well, we're off on the right foot. I can say that. Right, Fortnite, even better. All right, now that we have cracked at least a few jokes. Oh, out of curiosity, I've asked this every time I've hosted a live stream. I've asked somebody to demonstrate whether or not the super chat is working. And that's how you know that I'm not very familiar with live streams. I haven't done it much. I'm not sure if, still not quite sure yet if everything is working. So could somebody just confirm whether or not it is working, just out of curiosity, if the super chat is enabled and is working? And if you can do that, you can make all the Fortnite jokes you want. I don't get any of them, but you can make them. Anyway, to reiterate, no idea I'm broke. I know. Someone else says it's working. Lovely. Well, I suspect, the Prima show. Oh, goodness. All right, thank you, guys. It works. Give my channel a shout-out if you can pronounce it. Nope. But I'll try anyway. The Primo show. How's that? that wasn't great. Super chats are working. Thank you, David. Thank you. You guys don't have to part with any more of your dollars just to show that it's working. Hey, Chloe Lee, how are you? Hello, Ryan. It's nice to have you all here. And Drywall Jackson. Always a pleasure to support you. Fortnite rules. So says you. I don't know the first damn thing about it, but I'm glad that you're here. And look who else is here. A normal person. Hello there. How are you? Just to say it one more time, I mean, this chat, this could go anywhere. The last few chats that have, streams, the last few streams that have been done on this channel inevitably veered, but let's see how long, rather, we can keep this particular stream focused on the most recent upload to the channel. The most recent argument published on this channel, it was published today, had to do with Count Dankula and his infamous Made Your Dogs a Nazi video. And if you guys want, just to get it out of the way, Yaakov. I might have pronounced that correctly, but I probably didn't. Hello, Manuel. Just to get it out of the way, if you guys want to complain about YouTube Premiere and how long the premiere lasted, it lasted about 26 hours, which is my fault. But the fact that so many people were notified through their notifications that there was a premiere is YouTube's fault. If you just want to get that out of the way, we can complain about that right now. We can grumble about it. You guys can tell me what you think about YouTube Premiere. If you want to see that happen again on this channel or not. Of course, it's just whether or not it ever happens again depends on what the majority of you guys want. And I figure there will be some grumbling about YouTube Premiere. So let's just do that. So we did it. Was the delayed countdown intentional, or is it like that by default? It must be like that by default, because when I was watching the countdown on my computer, when it finally got down to 0, it said starting soon, which is not what I expected. And then after about 30 seconds of it saying starting soon, a minute and a half, another countdown, counting down from a minute and a half started, which was animated. So I don't think it was you. If you experienced a delay, you're not alone. Let's see here. I don't mind YouTube Premiere. Premiere. Get it, guys. I don't get it. I think the premiere lasted like 5 hours. Chloe Lee says, I think the premiere lasted like 5 hours. It would be okay, but 26 is silly. Yeah, I know. I didn't quite understand what the spirit of YouTube premieres were supposed to be. I thought this was the first time I ever did it. And in my mind, I thought, well, why not just give it a day's heads up? But in hindsight, that was kind of silly. And if it's ever done again, it would need to be something like 1 hour tops. And even then, I'm sure that some people would get very annoyed. Trip Tank asks, how do I fast forward? You can't. You cannot. When a video is quote unquote premiered on YouTube, it is as if it is live. As if it is live, meaning you can't, when the premiere starts, you can't jump to the end of the video. People are getting confused. Not everybody knows what YouTube premieres are. To anyone who doesn't know, YouTube Premiere is the latest feature on this platform. It's one of YouTube's latest ideas. The idea is that you alert all your subscribers that a video is going to become available a number of hours before it is available. And then when that time comes, it's basically streamed on the channel, just like this, as if it was a live stream. And the idea is to get... somebody is asking me what my favorite videos I ever did. That's a good question. I simply don't have an answer. Anyway, like I said, the YouTube Premiere is a new idea from YouTube, and it's new on this channel. Today was the first one. I love your voice, no homo. Thanks, Judah. So, yeah, we're already off topic. You're right. So if you guys have any either questions regarding the latest counter argument uploaded to the channel, or if you have any counter arguments yourself, your voice, dude, or if you have any argument, if you disagree with the latest counter argument uploaded to the channel, this video is grossly offensive. If you have any questions about it, you may ask them. If you have any disagreements with it, you may voice them as well. Of course, if you have any arguments in objection to it, let's chew over them. So let's see what we have here. Somebody's asking about the Kavanaugh hearing. Can we please stay on topic? At least at the beginning of the stream. Dankula deserves to rot in prison for life. Well, someone on the internet said that, so they must be serious. Jody says the premiere sounds like a stupid feature. Frankly, it should be called not a live stream or a live recording or some such like. Yeah, I can understand that. Someone's asking about manspreading. Again, let's try to stay on topic. Gray Fade, how are you? I haven't been offended. Stream's title is a lie. No, it's not. Offense is subjective. Didn't you watch the initial the counter argument that was uploaded. That was the premise of the counter argument, was that offense is subjective. So it is neither true nor false that this stream is offensive. I wonder if counter arguments exist. Let's find out. What the? I shitted and farted and camed in my pants. I love this. The internet is a wonderful place to be for many different reasons, but I'm still glad to be here. How would you go about explaining free speech and the Count Dankula to people, okay, to people in real life? To people in real life? Who are people in real life? And how would I go about explaining it? I'd make a video, as I did. YouTube fake live. Trademark. Good Lord. I just want to, let's see, Reza, just want to use the opportunity to point out that your arguing over nothing video taught me a lot of things. So thanks. You are welcome. Goodness. Someone going by the name of Constructive Criticism says, do you put on a voice for YouTube, or is this your natural accent? You sound like a sports announcer. You sound like a sports announcer. Well, to really give your answer to give your question a proper answer, this is my voice. I'm not really playing a character or anything, but I do try harder to sound good when I know I'm speaking into a microphone. If I was just out and about and hanging around, I would let my voice sound a little more nasally or scratchy, or I wouldn't put as much effort into pronunciation. But this is my voice. Let's see here. This whole, I can't pronounce this, simulmaniac, the whole topic is of value judgment. Which is why we have legal systems in the first place. Your video was excellent. Thank you. Smilomaniac. That's how you pronounce it. Let's see. Counter arguments. I agree with what you stated in the last video. My question is, this is Omega guys, if I can't pronounce your name, I'm hardly going to try. I agree with what you stated in the last video. My question is, wouldn't it be a false equivocation fallacy what the judge did in the Dankula case? Sorry, I don't quite understand that question. I'm sorry. I'll keep an eye out for your name if you clarify. Michael, I think that is because there's a K. Michael asks counter arguments. Why not use the judgment statement and respond to the article? You mean the judge's statement? I'm sorry, guy. I know I kind of sound, at the risk of sounding like a nitwit, I don't understand all of these questions. Let's see. Are you nervous right now? Good question, I guess. No, not really. Well, when there are hundreds of people listening to one person speak, one little stutter can imply nervousness, can it? But no, I'm not nervous. How do you think? Let's see. Who asked this question? Make it stop. How do you think this whole Count Dankula thing should end? How should it end? Well, I don't like how it began, and I don't like how it played out. So if there's a way I think it should end, it should be with everything being undone. But the legal penalty. But what I want is beside the point. We're just here to make arguments. Suicide is not a joke. I'm dead serious. I couldn't commit suicide if my life depended on it. Hey, buddy, that's offensive. Okay. You know what? I'm starting to get the impression that some of these comments are in response to other people in the comments and not to me. Could I be wrong about that? Let's see. What's your process? Joshua Peterson asks, what's your process for writing your scripts? Are you naturally this eloquent with words? Well, you can decide that for yourself. I'm, so to speak, freestyling right now. But the process for writing the arguments, I don't think I really have a unique process. I just simply draft. I write it and then I revise and revise, and I just constantly amend what I've already written, improving it over and over and over and over again. And it's a very tedious process. It takes a long time, and it's one of the reasons why the videos are so on this channel are so labor intensive. But I don't do anything special. I just revise and revise and revise out the wazoo. David Heidman Jr. says, love your content. I hope you continue this channel for a long time. Hashtag that voice. Oh, great. Did my voice just become a fucking meme? Oh, well, thank you, David. Thank you very much. So do I. I hope to continue this for a long time as well. I only enjoy it. Let's see. Moniker Handle. I like you, Mr. Counter Arguments. Thanks for making videos, matey. Alrighty, you're welcome. Let's see here. Sir Clark. I think people are getting too sensitive to controversial topics. Gee, you think? Yes, maybe. I think one day we won't be able to look back at history and get a good laugh at counter-arguments. Yeah, I don't know. Can't say for sure what's going to happen in the future, but I see where you're coming from. Let's see. David B says, guys, it's his first live stream. Nope, it's not. It's the third, I think, but I'm still new at this. So thanks anyway for the props. Show him some love. Super chat him the questions you have for him so he doesn't have to sift through all this gobbledygook. Thank you, David B. Hey, you like that, guys? You like being referred to as gobbledygook? Let's see here. Oh, here's a question regarding the production. What was the music used in the intro at the very beginning? It was a Duke Ellington song called I'm Beginning to See the Light, I believe. If you guys, please keep this in mind. A lot of questions end up in the comment sections. Well, a lot, I don't know. Every now and then someone will ask what song was used in a video. Go to the end of the video. Credit is given to every piece of music that's used on the videos in this channel. At the end of every video, credit is given to the clips and the music that is used. And by all means, if you guys think, if you didn't know you were into Duke Ellington until just now, congratulations. Enjoy. Let's see here. Dan B says counter-arguments is hate speech. Fact. Sophia D, do you run this channel on your own or do you have a quote-unquote team? Nope, no team. Let's see here. Counter-arguments. Thoughts on Facecam stream? No thoughts. Thank you very much. Is it too late to complain? Dan B wants to know if it's too late to complain about YouTube Premiere. Absolutely not. I just might not entertain the comments anymore. Let's see. What do you think of 2 Steps to Hell? We're not going to stay on topic, are we? Heil counter-arguments. It was just a matter of time before that happened, wasn't it? Let's see here. Well, here's a name I cannot pronounce. Ace Jick Mo, who knows? Do you think maybe it's more of a freedom of speech issue more than whether or not it's offensive? Well, more of a freedom of speech issue than whether or not Count Dankula's video is offensive. I don't think it needs to be more one or the other. We can entertain both at the same time. Or we can just put the two together. Here's an argument. The reason why freedom of speech is important is because offense is subjective, and certain things offend some people more than others. Therefore, if there is no basis to determine offense objectively, that would therefore, at least philosophically, justify freedom of speech. Perhaps not legally, but certainly philosophically. I don't know. I just made that up. So if that sounds useful to you, you can use it. Antoine Clinet. Why is no one here just named Bob Smith? Great video. Here's a question for you. Imagine the video had actually been done with an anti-Semitic premise and intent. Should he still have been fined? Well, should he have? Well, I mean, the fact is, apparently, they're under Scottish law. If you publish something on the internet, or if you use any sort of electronic communications to publish offensive material, apparently in Scotland, that is an offense. So the answer to that question in a legal respect is yes. But that just leads, all that does is stumble into the question of should that law exist in the first place? And there's a pretty good argument to be made that the law should not exist. At least it shouldn't if you think freedom of speech is a good idea. Let's see here. Counter arguments. I'm just wondering as to what traditional schooling you have. Sorry, no personal questions. Well, here's something from Jack in the Box. Hello, Jack in the Box. What do you think is the main cause or reason for the oversensitivity that is seemingly rampant as of late? Well, I'm glad you worded the question the way you did. You didn't ask me to just explain why. You asked me what I think. And I admit this is just a theory. And it's not even my only theory. But one of my guesses as to why people seem more overly sensitive is because many more people are able to express themselves publicly. In other words, social media. If anything offends more than 10,000 people, then out of a population of 330 million in the United States, if you can get 10,000 people to be offended by something, then that's all you need to get a trending hashtag. So I don't think people are feeling any differently than they always did. I just think that social media has made it possible for more people to express themselves, and that just makes it seem like we're being more overly sensitive. Because in the past, before social media, if 10,000 people got their panties in a knot over something, but they had no way of publishing their sentiments, who would know? Who would know? Let's see here. Lemon AIDS man. You should be in prison because my feelings are hurts. Right. And here's someone saying they're not against the wall. Wonderful. Wonderful. Well, some of us are still staying on topic. You know what I wish it was possible to play some jazz in the background during these. And not just because I frequently take, breaths. I quit speaking, I take a drink. But just because it would be nice to have it playing in the background. I'm going to have to find a way to do that. To play some jazz in the background. Nicholas Vickers. The age-old argument, waffles or pancakes? Well, I'm not going to settle that one today. I like them both. Daniel Ortiz wants to know if I like jazz. What gave it away? Constructive criticism. Says no to pancakes and waffles. He wants French toast. Let's see here. Oh, there we go. Someone wants to know if traps are gay. We've been here long enough. Now, here's a question from a show whose name I cannot pronounce, or at least I don't know if I did pronounce it correctly. Why avoid politics? Where do you land? Huh? I don't understand. The Primo... Oh, that's how it's pronounced. Primo. That's easy. The Primo show wants to know why avoid politics. What are you talking about? There's a lot of political content on this channel. Where do you land? Is this a question regarding my own personal politics? Because if it is, and I'll try to give you an answer, the reason is because the purpose of this channel is just to publish arguments. The best version of a particular argument or counter argument that can be produced. And if the personal trivia of the person making them becomes known, it's just going to get in the way. It's not relevant. The priority is the arguments. That's all. You don't have to worry about who's behind it or how the person felt when they made it or what their background is. A good argument is a good argument, and a bad argument is a bad argument. And that's what we should stay focused on. Garrett Claiborne says, I disagree with the idea that a video being offensive is subjective. A video can never be offensive. A video can never be offensive. A video is only potentially delivered or received offensively. Huh? Wait, Garrett, if you're going to make the argument that a video is only potentially received offensively, isn't that an argument in favor of offense being subjective? As far as I understand it, it is. It sound you stated your first sentence that you disagreed with the idea that a video being offensive is subjective. But the next thing you say is that a video can only be received offensively. I'm sorry, that seems like you contradicted yourself there, but maybe I misunderstood you. Snake Asylum just joined the stream. What are we talking about? Hey, Snake. We're talking about the latest video that was uploaded to the channel. The latest counter argument had to do with Count Dankula's video where he trained his pet pug to, well, I'm speaking as if you already know who that is. A Scottish fella by the name of Count Dankula uploaded a video 2 years ago where he trained, over 2 years ago, where he trained his dog to respond to an anti-Semitic phrase. Hey, if there is anyone in this chat who doesn't know what we are talking about, I would say leave the chat, leave the stream, and go watch the latest upload to this channel, the latest counter argument. Because if you haven't seen it yet, then you won't be in much shape to be involved in this stream. I'm going to ask it, hopefully I don't forget to ask at the end of the stream, if we should have another stream, a second stream, or even a third stream, just to discuss this video. Because I kind of like the idea of doing that, of publishing an argument on this channel, and then discussing it live. So you guys can let me know if you like to do that or not. I don't know how to pronounce that. Counter arguments. Great answer. The argument is what matters. Personal politics comes second. That's what I love about your channel. It doesn't feel like it has any agenda. It just counters arguments. Huzzah. Let's see here. Judah Fisher wants, please do more streams, bro. Okay, certainly will. I'll certainly try to be a little less inept with the technology and, feel a bit more comfortable and in stride while to not stammer so much, not go so much, not have to clear my throat so much during them. I'll learn. I'll get a little bit better at this. Yakov 19. Again, presuming I'm pronouncing that correctly. People getting offended is stupid. Character limit. I think you could type more than that, but yes, people getting offended is stupid. Yes. Well, it always does depend on who's getting offended and what they're getting offended over. We should operate on a case-by-case basis when it comes to offense. We just shouldn't use it as a basis for imprisonment. Let's see here. I'm not speaking because I'm reading various chats, comments, whatever you call them. You should go on the Ralph retort. Okay, don't know what that is. Here's a question. Is your mom gay? Here's another question. Are you confident enough in your on-the-spot argument smithing? Huh? To do more regular things like these. Regular things. Is this a regular thing and uploading videos isn't? I'm not quite sure what you mean. I'm sorry, I don't know. I don't understand that question. Here's a question from Defending Towers. How do you feel about tattoos? What? Who cares? We're not talking about tattoos. Let's see here. Oh, here's a question from Ladondorf. Let's go with that. If you think offense culture is a result of the internet allowing more people to share their ideas, why does it seem to only have cropped up within this decade alone? Because just within the 2010s? Well, I guess that's a decent question. Social media has been around sort of, for the most part, since the mid-2000s. But my best guess is that during this particular decade, the 2010s, a lot more people are on social media now than they were in the previous decade. The media sites themselves, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Snapchat, have become more advanced, more sophisticated. Um, I don't know. These are all guesses. I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't know if any of this is true. This is just all theory. These are all just theories. Da-da-da-da-da. Here's a question from David B. Top recommend for a book? Replying to constructing arguments. I don't know. For constructing arguments, I'm kind of stumped on an answer to that question because I didn't really learn how to argue from reading any particular books. I don't know. I'm sorry. There isn't really a particular book that I learned to argue from. Should there be? I think there should. Probably should read a book or two that has to do with arguing, but that's just not how I learned. I would, you know what? I'll recommend a book, How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. If you want to learn how to interact with people in general, it's not necessarily a book about arguing. In fact, there's a chapter or two that discourages arguing. Imagine that. But I think you can learn how to effectively communicate with people from reading that book. How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. And just learning how to interact with people in general can help you, in my opinion, become good at arguing. Jason Fanning. The Heil Hitler salute is from Rome. Interesting. The United States used it to pledge allegiance to the flag. Would you argue for or against reacquiring iconography the Nazis stole? I wouldn't argue in favor of that. I don't think it's possible. The Nazi salute is recognized as the Nazi salute. The swastika is recognized as the swastika. Whatever it meant before the Nazis got their hands on it, whoever used it before the Nazis used it, it's worth knowing, I guess. It's historical trivia that's fun to know, and the more you know, the smarter you are. But I don't think you can scrub clean the swastika or the Nazi salute after what the Nazis did with it. I just don't think that's possible. And certainly not this soon. Certainly not this early. I mean, the Nazi Germany, that was less than a century ago. Still fairly recent in history. Let's see here. Someone's asking, is it dangerous to avoid politics? I don't want to use the word dangerous, but I would like to discourage avoiding politics. Because politics, I mean, the game, the way politicians behave, the way people talk about politics, that can be ugly. But politics itself is just how we come to a consensus in a society, just how we decide how we're going to go about doing certain things. In concept, it's not ugly. It's just ugly in practice. But if you're an admirable character and you keep your cool, then politics doesn't have to be so intimidating. It doesn't have to be so scary. Because it isn't in concept. Somebody wants to know, how did you get good at arguing? Any advice for debate in general? Yeah, here's two pieces of advice. One would be to write down what you're thinking on a piece of paper in a Word document. I'm not going to explain why. I'm just going to say that when you try writing down something that you're thinking, whatever it is that you were thinking matures. And that's a vague way to describe it, but that's just how it feels. When you're thinking something, it's amorphous, it's vague, it's fuzzy, it's a blur. When you try to write it down, it becomes concrete, and you're able to think about it in more clear terms. The other piece of advice would be to just talk to yourself. If you're trying to figure something out and nobody's home, walk or pace around your room talking out loud, pretending that you're talking to somebody else. That's another way of making your thoughts concrete. Because if you just sit down and whatever you're thinking is just bouncing around in your head, there's potential being squandered if all you do is just think about your thoughts. Make them tangible somehow. And I think that's vague advice. It doesn't necessarily relate to arguing, but I hope you'll trust me when I say that it'll help. Here's a question from Michael. No, I've seen you here before. Could you answer to the court case as presented on the Scotland Judiciary website instead of the BBC article? Could I? I could. That didn't happen in the video because it. I can't imagine how long the video would be if the entire court case was challenged. There have been some people objecting to what Sheriff Derek O'Carroll said being addressed in BBC articles in the video. I've noticed that. Some people are not happy that, excuse me, some people are not happy that articles were used to depict what happened in the courtroom rather than, let's say, a transcript from the trial itself. And if you are someone who's not happy about that, I'm afraid I don't really have an answer for you. The purpose of using the articles was simply, well, one, the video would be ungodly long if the entire court case was fleshed out in a YouTube video. So that's one reason. And the other reason was just because it's an article is something that's easier for people to digest and is more familiar, and it's something that more people would be likely to read. And in a perfect world, an article could be blindly trusted. But essentially, if Sheriff O'Carroll says something such as the video is anti-Semitic and racist in nature, that claim can be challenged. Now, if you would like to be of the opinion that not addressing the entire case, top to bottom, means that the counterargument doesn't impress you or is ineffective, that's okay. I know what my limits are. I produced a YouTube video. I simply did not have what it took to make a video that responded to every single thing that was said during that trial. Those are my limits. And while I was saying that, I wasn't reading any responses to what I was saying when I was saying it. So let's review this. With the recent Supreme Court hearing, that's not what we're talking about. It's a 15-paragraph long judgment! Exclamation point, said Mike Hill. Yeah. And look, I'll say it one more time. I just don't have an answer for anyone who thinks that the counter-argument that was published on this channel is null and void, is just completely ineffective because it didn't address the entire 15-paragraph long judgment. If that's the conclusion you've arrived at, if you think that the video that was uploaded to this channel, the counter-argument that was uploaded to this channel, is utterly unconvincing because it didn't address every single word of the judgment, I'm afraid I don't have an answer for you. You're entitled to be unimpressed. You're entitled to be unconvinced. It's a YouTube video. Let's see here. Lemonade's Man wants to know, do you think what Count Dankula did was acceptable? Personally, it was an attempt at humor, and as a rule, I don't find attempts at humor unacceptable. Well, I don't know. As soon as I said that, I just thought of the worst example of an attempt at humor. Yeah, I should probably amend that. If somebody wants to get a laugh by tripping old people that are going down a flight of stairs, yeah, that's not acceptable. But what Count Dankula did in particular, personally, I thought it was benign. Let's see. What do you think of the swastika being censored in video games that are themed around World War II? Well, I don't understand what that's going to accomplish, because if a swastika is censored, I don't know how it's censored. If it's censored by making it blurry or pixelated, but everybody recognizes what it is, then I don't see what's being accomplished. Everybody knows what it is, so you might as well just unpixelate it. But I'm not exactly sure how swastikas are censored in video games. Mike Kell again. It's not a matter of addressing the whole transcript, just the decision's finding. It's 15 paragraphs long. Yeah. That's a lot of work. 15 paragraphs is a lot. A video that I mean, you all have observed how long it can take to think critically about or challenge or analyze one sentence. You could presumably you could spend a good 5 minutes picking apart what's wrong with a single sentence. Challenging 15 paragraphs could take 30, 40, 50 hours theoretically. It should be read, though. I certainly don't want to discourage anybody from reading it in its entirety. I just don't think it would be practical to make a video that addressed it in its entirety. Here's a question. Would you adopt a cute dog that does the Nazi salute randomly to strangers? I don't know. This stream is off the record. Says just mead. How do you pronounce that? Okay, guys. Well, this stream has been going now for about 41 minutes, and it's not going to be any. It's not going to be any shorter than an hour. But I do want to, and I know this is going to turn some people off. This is probably going to ruffle a few feathers, but I'm going to say it anyway. If nobody is going to ask questions or produce any arguments in the super chat, then I don't see this stream lasting very much longer because, of course, whatever time I spend in this stream is time that I could be spending working on another video, working on the next argument, or working on a collaboration with another YouTuber. And I do have some emails to respond to. So I'm afraid I'm just going to have to make that clear. If there aren't any questions or arguments put forward in the super chat, then we'll probably just wrap this up at about an hour so I can get back to work. Sorry if there are any hard feelings about that. I'm just going to make that known. Louis Mario something wants to know what I think about Ben Shapiro. He's intelligent. He's articulate. I can't claim to agree with everything he ever said. The question was vague, so the answer was vague. Let's see here. Todd has an actual question. How long do you think an average video takes? It depends on the length. On average, a good 5 minutes takes about a week. Oh, here we are. Jack in the Box. You again. Do you think that Hitler believed his own anti-Semitic rhetoric because he had associated with Jews prior to World War II and even requested for the protection of the Jewish doctor who tried to save his mother? Wow, that's a question. Did Hitler even believe his own rhetoric? Well, he tried to conquer all of Europe and started a world war in the name of it. So, based on that, yeah. But hey, who knows, man? Who knows? I never met Hitler. I never asked him personally. Ryan Murray. Ryan, you gave $10 and didn't say anything. I object to that. Thank you, but I object to that. You shouldn't do that. You ought to get something back for it. Well, I did mention your name, didn't I? I told everyone how much you gave, but I have to insist if you do that again, say something that I can respond to. Okay, let's see here. Here's a question. Please answer before you leave. This question is from Death Mechanism. Okay, I'll answer this before we leave. Do you think this case would have been even more ridiculous if it were based in the United States? Or would it just be an open and shut case? Well, those are two different questions. In the United States, it would probably be open and shut. I don't think there would be a jury, first of all. It wouldn't just be the judge deciding guilt, him or herself. And I don't think an American jury would ever find anyone guilty of being offensive. Um, would the case be even more ridiculous if it happened in the United States? I don't think so. Everyone from all over the world would react just the same as they did to Count Dankula. Although maybe some more people would be more offended and more frazzled. Offended, how ironic that would be. Maybe even more people would be more frazzled, considering that in the United States there is the Bill of Rights and there is the First Amendment. So there would have been no precedent to there is no precedent to convict somebody in the United States of the same thing that Count Dankula was convicted of. And I shouldn't even be calling him Count Dankula when I'm referring to his trial. I should be calling him by his legal name when I'm referring to his trial. Mark Meechan, or Marcus Meekin. Apparently his name was mispronounced in the video. Sorry about that. Let's see here. Someone wants to know who Jordan Peterson is. Stan the Slap Man. Consequences for becoming desensitized to Nazis? Question mark? Why did you use an apostrophe? Question mark. Okay, so Stan the Slap Man wants to know what the consequences might be to becoming desensitized to Nazis. Well, here's one potential consequence. They could theoretically rise to power again if nobody's scared of them. Another potential consequence, is that nothing happens. They just become less. They become less and less taboo. That could happen too. Royo Kosis. Okay, don't know how to pronounce your name, and you didn't say anything. So in the super chat, so I really have nothing to say in response. Thank you for your 99 cents. But once again, why didn't you say anything in the super chat? Here's a question. What kind of justice system do you prefer? A jury system or a judge system? I'm in favor of the jury. Oh, and that reminds me, if there's anyone here who is a fan of this channel but hasn't seen the film 12 Angry Men, watch that. The one made in 1956, I believe, directed by Sidney Lumet. If you're a fan of this channel and you've never seen 12 Angry Men, give it a go. Please. RYOKSOS again. Question. Do you think there's a point where a statement crosses a line and becomes quote-unquote hate speech and should be punished? Well, there are certain statements that cross a legal line, such as threats of violence, libel and slander, which is notoriously difficult to prove. Let's see here. Leaking classified information. Those are all things that are not protected by the First Amendment in the United States. But is there a statement that should be punished on the grounds that it is hate speech? I would like to refer you to it. There's an argument on this channel, and the title of the video is just hate speech. There's a video on this channel entitled Hate Speech, and it's an argument against the concept of hate speech. That should answer your question. Jan MacCorpse? Jan, I'll just call you Jan. Do you think the laws aren't adapted to our current era? Or is it that people, even judges, are being stupid at interpreting them? In general, I can't say yes or no because we'd have to go on a case-by-case basis. Do I think the laws aren't adapted to our current era? Well, that's a great debate. The debate over whether or not laws and rights that were given to people centuries ago are still useful now. And I see this argument crop up most often regarding the Second Amendment, because some people will make the argument that the Second Amendment of the Bill of Rights is not necessary anymore because when it was written, people lived in the wilderness. They would have to shoot a member of a native tribe or a wild animal that tried to attack them and their farm. So that's a fascinating debate. But if you're going to ask if laws are not adapted well to our current era or if people are not interpreting them well, I'm afraid you'll just have to be more specific. You'll have to refer to a specific law and the specific way in which it's interpreted. Because in general, I don't have an answer. Devin, have I seen Joe Rogan meets Ro Jogan? No, haven't seen that one, but I think I know who made it, and I think I will enjoy it. I'll get around to it someday. Let's see. Do you believe there is a means by which the British judicial system could be changed to prevent cases such as this? Well, sure, yeah. At least in Scotland, they could have juries and not just let the judge decide guilt. I wanted to hear your thoughts on George Carlin, since you featured his material on your channel directly as an opinion piece. This question comes from Adnan Adil. Sorry, I can't pronounce your name. But if you want to know my thoughts on George Carlin, I'll just give you one single sentence. As a kid, a 12-year-old kid, he was something of a mentor for me entering my adolescence, of which I'm very thankful for. That's all. Let's see here. Counter arguments. I'd like to know the man behind the channel a bit more, so that's why I'm asking you a bunch of questions about you. Okay. Well, I wish you wouldn't, because I don't want to talk about myself. So, what's the worst argument you've ever heard? I don't know. The worst argument I ever heard? I mean, here's the first thing coming to mind. The worst argument I ever heard was, insert any argument in the world here, ... because I said so. Or insert any order or command right here, ... because I said so. Basically, ... because I said so might be the worst argument I ever heard. But it doesn't matter what your argument in favor of. The problem, of course, is with the because I said so bit. I really don't have a serious answer to that question, the worst argument I ever heard. I don't know. I don't know. I just don't know. I haven't kept stock of every one that I've ever heard. Here's something from Nathan. Absolutely do watch that movie. I'm assuming you're referring to 12 Angry Men. Watched it as a child and it was amazingly good. But the real question is, could you get the same knife at a pawn shop? Yeah, good question. Let's see here. Oh, Jason again. Jason Fanning. The U.S. became the great power by defeating Nazi Germany. Is this why we obsess over the culture and slander each other by calling one another a Nazi? I think the reason why people are just called Nazis is because, well, I mean, Nazis are just one of the most lucrative boogeymen that exist, certainly in the political arena. And it's just an easy way to attempt to discredit somebody. It's being overused, though, and one day it's not going to work anymore. You can only cry wolf so many times, of course. That's a pretty good question, but I don't know if I gave it a straight. I don't think I gave it a straight answer, and because I don't know what the answer really is. I can't crap. I can't remove. Oh man, my chat froze. Damn it! I can't see the latest comments. Okay, well, something went wrong on my end. I'm going to try refreshing this, and if that results in the stream being stopped, I apologize. Looks like everything still works. Wonderful. Okay, sorry guys. On my end, the chat froze, so I just refreshed the page. All right. Does anyone else have any further comments on the latest argument uploaded to the channel? Oh, here's a question. Why do you like juries? What about a system where you have multiple judges judging something? Is that better? Better? Mm, I won't. Well, what happened? Well, I guess it would be put to a vote then. You'd have to have an odd number of judges, and you'd have to convince a majority of them that the defendant is guilty or not guilty. But isn't that in a way a jury? I know they are judges, but trying to convince a majority of people to come to a consensus is what a jury is. Well, not necessarily. The idea of a jury is to have unanimous agreement. I don't know. That's a pretty good question that I haven't entertained, so I don't have much to say beyond that because I haven't given it much thought. But thank you for the question. Hypocritical sailboat. That's a question. Would you consider that argument an appeal to authority or circular reasoning? Because I said so. I don't think because I said so is circular reasoning. Nor do I think it's an appeal to the appeal to authority fallacy is essentially saying, well, I know a guy who does X or said X, therefore X must be valid. Something like that. The appeal to authority is just referring to someone that you know who does something relevant to the debate to render something valid. I don't think that's the same thing as just saying because I said so, but I could be wrong. Let's see. Here's a question. If something is harmful to someone or society, fixing it doesn't require emotion. So when, if ever, is being offended productive? Good question. And it seems like a rhetorical question. If so, there's no need to answer it. Here, Red Rax is responding to a comment made earlier about having multiple judges instead of a jury. A group of judges, he said, Red Rax says a group of judges wouldn't work simply because it would cost too much. Yeah, maybe. Maybe. Oh, crap. Someone named Yoda said I missed a super chat. That's not good. Who was it? Could someone... Okay, if you are the super chat that I missed, could you please comment right now saying it was you and just repeat whatever you said? Damn it. I shouldn't do that. I missed 7 days question. 7 days, where are you? You don't have to say anything. Just, oh, yep, the worst luck. Okay, 7 day, I see you. You don't have to comment again in the super chat. Just repeat whatever it was that you said initially that I missed. 7 day, me. There you are. I'm very sorry. Please just repeat whatever it was you said, and do not do it in the super chat. I will notice you. I'm keeping an eye on the chat right now. 7 day. 7 day. Everybody hold off on your comments. Hold until 7 day posts whatever they previously said and that I didn't notice. Where are you, 7 day? 7 day. I'm keeping an eye out for you. There you are. I've heard some people call it animal abuse. What do you think? Huh? Oh, what Count Dankula did to his pug. Some people... So there are some people who referred to what Count Dankula did to his girlfriend's pug as animal abuse. Well, as I understand it, animal abuse is physically abusing an animal. Needless to say, Mark Beacon's girlfriend's pug, Buddha, doesn't know what a Nazi is, doesn't know what the Holocaust was, never understood the content, nor let alone the context of what it did. So if the pug itself, if Buddha doesn't understand anything that it didn't understand the video it was watching, didn't understand why it was raising its paw, I don't see the basis for that being animal abuse. It would just have to be some sort of physical abuse, as far as I can tell. Sorry, 7-Day. I'm sorry that I missed your comment in the super chat. I'm very sorry about that. Here is a question from Herman. I cannot pronounce your first name, so I'll call you Herman. Do you think that gerrymandering is a detrimental feature of American democracy? Well, yeah. The whole purpose of gerrymandering is to redraw certain districts so that somebody will win for sure. So yeah, that would be like asking if water is detrimental to getting things keeping things dry. Uh-oh, did I just wake up the water is wet debate again? Did I do it on purpose? Maybe I did. Maybe it. Oh, here's something from Heckdog. Is your argument against legally punishing offensive humor, should it be extended to how people in general react to offensive humor? Huh? I'm sorry, I don't think I understand that question. Hey, Jack in the Box. Glad to see you back. Do you believe, this is from Jack in the Box, do you believe in inherent good, or the argument that global peace is possible if everybody just got along? Well, I don't think it's possible for everybody to just get along, so no. I could be, I hope I can only hope to be proven wrong about that someday. But as of now, I do not believe that everybody on planet Earth can get along. I simply have not been convinced that that's possible. Do you believe in inherent good? I believe in good. I don't believe everybody can get along. Let's see here. It seems like this event took place outside of the US. Do you think something like this could happen in America? That's a question by the TY guy, the Thai guy. No, I don't think that an American citizen could be arrested and put on trial for what Mark Meechan was. The law is different over there. The Scottish law is different from American law. And I don't think a law could ever be passed in the United States that criminalizes grossly offensive material or obscene or menacing material published on the internet. I can't see that law ever being, well, such a bill could, we know for a fact that such a bill would never be signed into law under the Trump administration. So we know that's not going to happen anytime soon, but I don't think it could possibly happen under any administration. America's different. America's different than Scotland in at least this one respect. Here's a question about climate change that's not relevant to what we're discussing. Here's something from Ladondorf. Here's what he says. Interesting how Count Dankula's video landed him in hot water, while people such as iDubbbz have made equally offensive jokes in greater amounts and face little to no backlash. Thoughts? Well, iDubbbz is in the United States. I think. I don't know for sure. I'm assuming he's in the United States. So he couldn't be arrested by Scottish police. What question? Here's a question. What question would you answer? Because I've been asking the same for about 10 minutes. I get there's other people in the super chat, but man, come on. That's a question from Joaquin Lopez. Wants to know what question will I answer, because he's been asking the same question for about 10 minutes and I haven't been addressing it. Well, forgive me, Joaquin. I'm very sorry that I haven't been giving you attention in 10 whole minutes. There does happen to be a lot of people here. And here's Joaquin again responding to somebody else in the chat. It's not the question if it's acceptable. Well, hey, Joaquin, look, the best I can tell you is to keep asking a question you'd like me to answer, and hopefully I'll notice it. If a question is asked in the super chat, I'll notice it for sure. And the fact that is in the super chat is going to mean that I'm going to feel it. I'm going to consider an imperative to address anything in the super chat. Anything else in the regular chat, I might miss. I can't promise you I'm going to notice everything that's said in here. It's okay. Okay. Thanks, Joaquin. Hey, I didn't think there were any hard feelings. I'm just stating the obvious. Here's a question. What's your favorite fallacy? This was asked by Make It Stop. What's your favorite fallacy? Mine is the no true Scotsman fallacy. Yeah, that's a good one. I don't have a favorite fallacy. I think it's amusing to cite the no true Scotsman fallacy while discussing Count Dankula because he is a Scot. Oh, here's a question. From Sean Chick, do you hate irrelevant questions? Now that's good enough to be a Monty Python sketch. Bum, 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 bum. Yep. Speaking of irrelevant questions, somebody has a question here about Alex Jones. That's irrelevant. Hopefully we can keep this focused on the latest counter argument that was uploaded to this channel. The argument against Maitre Doug's a Nazi being grossly offensive. Bum, ba, ba, ba. Here's a question. Do you agree with how Dankula is approaching the issue? Not paying the fine, fighting against the ruling, etc. Would you do the same? Well, can't imagine what I would do. Here's the question from David Brown. Do you agree with how Dankula is approaching the issue? For those who don't know, Marcus Meekin has decided that his sentence was to pay a fine, and he's publicly declared that he will not pay it, understanding full well that it will result in him being imprisoned, to which he's prepared to do it. He's prepared to go to prison, if only it draws more attention to this issue. Do I agree with that? The question is, do I agree with that? And the agreement's not what's important. What's important is whether or not my personal agreement is not important. Frankly, I see the rationale in his decision, and I think that this would be an effective maneuver. If he wants to, if Meekin, however the hell you say his name, if he wants to keep attention focused on his dilemma, if he wants to keep people focused on it, focused on him, focused on his trial, and talking about it, then refusing to pay the fine and going to prison will certainly accomplish that. So I certainly see the rationale in him doing that. A question from Lemonade's Man. Do you think the judge was biased? Well, there's an argument to be made that every human being is biased. Of course, obviously, judges are not supposed to be. But yes, the judge certainly seemed to be biased. Here's someone else asking about climate change. Thank you for staying on topic, everybody. You know what? I've realized the mistake I made in the first couple of live streams I've done on this channel is that whenever I tried to keep it focused on a particular, here's someone saying that everyone is biased. It can't be helped. Yes. When it comes to judges, it should be helped, but not only is everybody biased, nobody is perfect. I think I've made a mistake I've made in prior live streams is that I would try to keep it focused on one particular topic, but I would still entertain and answer questions that were not relevant. Why did I do that? That wasn't very smart. So consider that a learning curve. I think I finally found a way to at least keep as many questions as possible relevant to the topic at hand. Now, here's a question. Pardon me. Here's a question from Undoomed. What are your thoughts on an internet bill of rights? Well, that's a new idea, and I haven't chewed on it for very long, and I haven't chewed on it very much. It seems like it could be a good idea, but of course, what do I mean by that? Of course, it would only be a good idea depending on what the rights actually were, what rights were actually granted. So it naturally depends on what the content of an internet bill of rights, what the content of it actually is. But the idea itself, I think, is well, certainly it's certainly worthy of consideration, and I think it has a lot of potential to be a very good idea. I don't know how you would implement it though. You'd have to get every government on planet Earth to agree to abide by it. That's a pretty that's a pretty high mountain to climb. But as ideas go, I think it's a good idea. Here's a question. Any country with stronger free speech laws than the United States? Hmm. I don't know. Are there any countries with stronger free speech laws than the United States? As much as saying as much as it's going to make me sound like America fuck yeah kind of guy to say I don't know of any, but I don't know of any. I could be wrong. I could be wrong, but I don't know of any other country with stronger free speech laws than the United States. So, there you go. America. Here is something in the super chat from Mr. Thomas Haverford. He gave $2, but he didn't say anything. I don't get it. Why would you do that? I thank you very much, but why would you say nothing in the super chat? Oh, here's someone telling Undoomed to get back to work. Okay, here's a question from the regular chat, whatever you want, whatever it is called. What do you think about statues that represent Southern heroes? This is not relevant. We're talking about the latest argument uploaded to the channel. What do you think about the rise of socialist ideas in colleges? Is it relevant to the rise of Euro-Nazi culture? I don't know. I don't know. Oh, here's someone. Who's this? Who's sane black? Counter arguments. So you'll answer questions about random fallacies, but not Alex Jones. You're not making any sense. Yep, you got me. I broke my own rule. I didn't want to entertain any questions that were irrelevant to the latest counter argument uploaded to this channel, and nevertheless, I did answer a question that somebody asked about what my favorite fallacy was. You got me, man. You got me. No, you really did. I'm not being funny. That was inconsistent on my part. I should have ignored that question. So you got me. Here, oh, Dan B, why can't I ask an irrelevant question? Again, this is good enough to be a Monty Python skit. Here's a question. Could Meechan reference other offensive British comedians to effectively defend his position? Well, yeah, sure. He could. He certainly could. Whether it would do him any good is another matter. If he did, for all I know, he did do that, and it didn't work. Let's see here. Mr. Squawky. Damn. Counter arguments. More like condescending arguments. Oh, uh-oh. Julian, please, it's important. Answer me. Do you like Fortnite? Season 6. Julian, you said it was important. That's not important. And I don't have an answer because I don't play Fortnite. Now comes the time when everyone gets angry at me for answering an irrelevant question. Bring it on. Bring on the rage. Oh, Mr. Herman or Mrs. Herman. Your voice is awesome, by the way. I wish I could give you a hug. Thank you very much. Let's see here. Here we go. Walking brain, please, this is relevant. Yes, we've got a new meme. All we have to do now is insist that a question is relevant or that a statement is relevant when it isn't. And a new meme is born. Now, here's a question in the super chat. And just so you know, anything that is said in the super chat will be acknowledged because it's the super chat. I feel obligated to address anything. So if you ask an irrelevant question in the super chat, you win. I'm going to have to answer it. Death Mechanism 89. Boxers or briefs? I hold no prejudice towards either article of clothing. That's not a dodge. That's the answer. I'll go for either or. Jason Fanning. At university in the 2000s, we called meter maids parking Nazis. Okay. Now, feminists call white males, such as myself, Nazi. Any thoughts on the fluidity of Nazi? I don't think I have anything extraordinary to say about the matter. More and more people are being called Nazis who do not qualify as Nazis. Why it's happening? Well, I don't know. Can we chalk it up to political laziness, intellectual laziness? Because it certainly does seem to be the case that if you accuse someone of being a Nazi who is not a Nazi, or let me try that another way. If you accuse somebody of being a Nazi, whether or not they are a Nazi, that is going to some extent, ruin their reputation. It's going to dirty up their name. So it could be that the reason why people are accused of being Nazis who are not Nazis is just to make, it could just be that the person making the accusation knows better. It's just a cynical attempt to gain a little bit of political ground, just a temporary gain. It could be that, or it could be that the person making the accusation genuinely doesn't know what the hell a Nazi is. You just have to ask the person themselves, or themselves. Themself is not a word. I'm a grammar Nazi, so that's how I know that themself is not a word. 7 Day. Hey, hello 7 Day. Sorry again for missing your comment in the super chat earlier. Think there's any real chance of the law changing? Well, laws can change. Which law in particular? The Scottish law, the Communications Act of 2003. Can that change? It certainly can, but is there a chance? There might be a chance because a lot of media attention, a lot of people from all over the world started paying attention to Scottish law as a result of Count Dankula. So that could result in public pressure to change the law. The fact that there was so much attention over Mark Meechan's trial, that could be the best chance of that law being removed. But of course, who knows for sure whether or not that will happen. Ryan Murray gave $2 in the super chat and had nothing to say. That's kind of strange. Okay. Now, since I spent a long time answering that last question, here's someone else. Dan B. What's your favorite Monty Python sketch? Well, I don't want to pick one, but of course, if I had to pick a favorite Monty Python sketch, it would be the Argument Clinic. And I don't expect that to surprise anybody. Again, I don't want to pick a favorite, but if I had to pick a favorite Monty Python sketch, it would be the Argument Clinic. People describe what it's like when they do certain drugs like LSD or any other psychedelic. They talk about opening, or the first time somebody smokes marijuana, they talk about it opening up doors and windows in their minds. Well, I don't want to give you the impression that watching the Argument Clinic, the Monty Python sketch Argument Clinic for the first time was like doing a drug, because it wasn't. But the feeling of doors being opened up in your mind, that's what it felt like the first time I saw that sketch. This isn't an argument. It's just contradiction. No, it isn't. Yes, it is. It is not. I mean, it was just such a feeling of eureka and humor. I was laughing my ass off at the same time. So it was just a wonderful feeling. It was a wonderful, wonderful discovery. Why did I babble on about Monty Python? I didn't have to do that. Do you know who Vernaculus is? Yes, I do. Cameron, is there a difference between subjectivity and objectivity? Are you being funny? Yeah, there's obviously a difference between subjectivity and objectivity. That must have been a troll. Bum 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 bum. Is there a point? Here's a question. Is there a point of free speech in which it becomes detrimental to society rather than allowing information to pass freely? I don't know. I don't think so. Because, I mean, the beautiful thing about free speech is that anybody can speak. So, while someone can certainly use the right to free speech to just say awful things, to just go running around pointing at everyone who's ugly or fat or handicapped and just going, ha ha, you suck, or something like that. Someone else can use their right to free speech to reprimand them or to protest against it. No, I don't think the principle when freedom of speech is put into practice, any problems that may arise seem to correct themselves. Oh, here we are. Make it stop. Says here's a relevant question. What are your thoughts on Article 13? Article 13. Oh, since Dankula was a part of that. Yeah. Well, if Article 13, that hasn't gone into law yet, as far as I know. I think it did clear some sort of a milestone, but I think the EU that's still going. That still has a couple of hoops to hop through. I don't think Article 13 is good for online content, but that doesn't seem to be a controversial opinion. Everybody seems to feel that way as well, or at least everybody I've seen weigh in on it. Timothy Lee says Monty Python is always relevant on this channel. Amen. Adam Spong. Hello from Australia. Hello, Adam. Hello to Australia. Thanks for joining. Somebody's asking why their pug became a Nazi. Am I a bad pet owner? Gaming Central. I'm so close to my 300 subs, bro. Cool. I got nothing other than that. Does anybody have... Oh, here we are. Walking Brain. Counter argument in regards to the animal abuse thing. Couldn't one say the same of a person? If one manipulates another to do something wrong, are they not liable for the other's actions? Well, first of all, a pug is different than a human being. A human being at least has the potential to understand what Nazism is. And to the second part of your question, if you think that if one person, person A manipulates person B into doing something, should person A be punished? The only way you could do that is if you neglected the agency of person B. And I don't think that would be wise. Anyone who gets manipulated is still responsible for the fact that they were manipulated. That's what I say. Oh, here's someone, Joaquin Lopez. Is Australia relevant? Good. Oh, I see. Because I said hello to somebody who is from Australia. Yes. Again, I'm asking for the questions to be relevant. If somebody from Australia wants to say hi, I'm going to say hello right back at him. Here's a question. Do you find the overabundance of Nazi-ness leads to a desensitization? Naturally. How, for anyone who lives in the United States, you've probably heard of people talking about how or people worrying about how we may get desensitized to mass shootings. Why do people worry that Americans will become desensitized to mass shootings? Because they're happening more and more frequently. Hmm. Here's a question from Make It Stop, who admits, I know this is not relevant, but I'm still kind of curious. Will there ever be a time where you'd want to do a live stream with no theme? Sure, sure. And the first live stream I ever did on this channel was just like that. Yeah, I wouldn't mind doing a live stream in which there was no focus or theme or topic. But like I said, I've done that already. And the questions, I mean, a lot of them are personal, which I don't want to entertain, and some of them are just off the wall. Some of them have nothing to do with arguing in the first place. So that was one of the reasons why I decided to do focused live streams. Well, here's a question that's relevant for anyone who wants to know. Here is a relevant question. Are you a fan of offensive humor? Yes, I am. But in general though. That in general I am. It does depend. That doesn't mean I find every offensive joke funny. But in general, yeah, I can appreciate offensive humor. Here's Ryan Murray. Ryan Murray, look at you. I'm glad to see you've actually said something this time. Because if I remember correctly, you gave a couple of dollars in the super chat without saying a word. Here's Ryan Murray. You should do more live streams if the price is right. Look, even if I didn't make 1 cent doing live streams, I would still do them now and then. I don't know how often I would do them. I don't know how long they would last, but I would still do them because I do enjoy doing this, and I do see the utility, whether or not there is any profit to be made. Making money off of live streams is an obvious incentive. Obviously, anytime anyone can make any money doing anything, there's an incentive to do it. But Ryan, I want you to know that these streams would happen, even if they weren't profitable. Let's see now. How long exactly has this stream been lasting? It's been over an hour now. You know what I haven't thought about doing? I'm on Twitter. I went on Twitter right now just to check my notifications. Email. Let's see. How long has this stream been lasting now? I don't know. And why should I care? Let's see. We'll keep the stream going now for another. It's started around 7:30. Let's see. Well, let's see. We'll keep the stream going now for another 15 or 20 minutes. And then we'll call it a day. So, sorry, let me catch up with the chat here. Here's somebody, Lus Panic, says Meechin, not Meechim, deserves punishment because we must protect historically marginalized communities from dangerous speech, especially the Jews due to their long history of being oppressed. Well, I would entertain that point of view if you provide an argument. Just making the claim that we have to protect historically marginalized communities from dangerous speech, that's a claim. That's a point of view that you're entitled to. But I would like to know what your arguments are. C. Young, is free speech, in your opinion, helpful or hurtful in the advancement of civilization? You know what? It can go either way, but in general, I think it's a force for good. 7 Day, hello again, 7 Day. Do you think it's acceptable to get offended on somebody else's behalf? Now, there's a good question. I'm ethnically Jewish, and I found arresting him offensive and his joke funny. Now, there's something worth considering. That's something worth considering for anybody who thinks that Mark Meechin should have been arrested and convicted. Because here, 7-Day says, I'm ethnically Jewish. I found his arrest to be offensive and his joke to be funny. How do you like that? But the question is, do you think it's acceptable to get offended on somebody else's behalf? In general, no. And not just because it can backfire, not just because if you take offense on somebody else's behalf, it may not be wanted. That's always possible. If you're white and you take offense on behalf of black people, and someone who's black walks up to you and says, "Yeah, I'm not offended by that. Please stop speaking on my behalf." It's a kind of condescending. Yes, taking offense on somebody else's behalf can come back, can blow up in your face. But with that point aside, just in general, taking offense on someone else's behalf is inherently patronizing. It's unnecessary, as long as the person who you're taking offense on behalf of is able to speak for themselves. Now, if someone who's offended asks you to speak on their behalf, that's different. If you're asked or requested or conscripted to speak on someone else's behalf, that's another matter. But just deciding on your own to take offense on someone else's behalf, that's not reasonable. Ryan Murray. Hey, Ryan. Why do you care if, that's supposed to be if, not is, why do you care if the question is relevant? Well, because I was hoping to keep this particular live stream focused on the most recent argument that was uploaded to this channel, you see. And in spite of that, people are asking questions about global warming and Alex Jones and if traps are gay, and I don't want to entertain questions that are not relevant to the topic at hand. So to discourage them, oh, look at this. 7-Day said that's my last super chat. Oh, okay, fair enough. I'm happy that, hey, 7-Day, I'm glad that you did. Well, first of all, I'm glad you were a part of the stream, first of all. And second of all, I'm glad you were involved in the super chat because you asked a couple of pretty good questions and I enjoyed answering them. So thank you. Michael Jason. Sorry, I don't know how to pronounce that. Michael asks the following question. Isn't using the dictionary definition of offensive in your video an equivocation fallacy, since the law prescribes its own definition? Well, I guess that does run the risk of committing the equivocation fallacy if the dictionary definition of offense and the legal definition of offense are not the same thing. But to that, and maybe this is a dodge, but to that, I would have to ask the question, why are they different? Because the term offense, it's a term. It can be a legal term, but it is a term in the English language that has meaning. So if there is a different definition, if the term offense has a different definition legally speaking than it does in the dictionary, I'd have to ask why that is in the first place. But if there is a legal definition for offense that's different from the dictionary definition of offense, then the legal definition should be what was used in the video. At the end of the day, to answer your question, the legal definition, if there is one, should have been what was included. Let's see here. Harry Osborne, do you think America's free speech laws could change to that resembling Scotland, with the left wanting hate speech laws and Trump and the right wanting to regulate press? Well, the question is, could they change? And of course, unfortunately, they always could. But as long as the majority of the population doesn't want them to change, and as long as the majority of the population reads the paper or watches the news and keeps themselves informed, hopefully that will never happen. Yep, and here are a bunch of people asking if traps are gay. I knew it would happen, guys. I knew that was going to happen. Here's a question that's not relevant. Did you really think a live chat would stay relevant? No, I guess not. Here's a question. Or it's not a question, it's just a statement. As a Scotsman, this trial was such an embarrassment to me. Be thankful you have the First Amendment. Hear, hear. I am thankful. All right, here's a comment from Walking Brain. Relevant as far as offensive humor goes. You got me. If it's about offensive humor, I guess it's relevant to the latest upload to the channel. My Jewish buddy said he could. I'm not going to read that on the chat. He almost got me. I'm not going to read that one out loud. Michael, because dictionary makers are not legislators. Yes, I understand that people who write dictionaries are not responsible for legislation. I was only making the point that terms in the English language have meaning. And if a term has one meaning in the dictionary and another term under law, hopefully they shouldn't differ too much, especially when it comes to a term such as offense. Hopefully the meaning of the term offense under law does not differ too much from its dictionary definition, because in the dictionary, the definition of offense is annoyance or resentment brought about by a perceived insult to or a disregard for oneself or one's standards or principles. So that's a pretty good definition. Hopefully the legal definition isn't all that different from that. If it is, I mean, you could define it as anything. Under law, if you define offense as saying something sarcastically, I don't know. This is a bit of a wormhole. I only hope that offense is never legally defined any differently than it is in the dictionary. Let's see here. Let's keep this going for another 5 minutes or so, maybe a little longer, depending how good the questions are. But this stream has been going now for about 2 hours, and that's a pretty good chunk of time. And I don't know if you guys are experiencing fatigue. My voice is starting to get a little scratchy. I'm kind of hungry, and the number of people in the chat, the number of people in this chat was about 400 something, 500 something. It's now in the 300s. So we'll probably wrap this up in a few minutes. Stan the Slap Man. I think this stream is counterproductive. It is currently 2 a.m. in the UK. Most people would have had an opinion on this topic are asleep. You know what, Stan? You're right. There's going to be another live stream scheduled at a time in which people who live in Europe are awake. You know, I think that's a pretty good note to end it on. Hey, everybody, a round of applause for Stan the Slap Man for pointing out what should have been obvious. This stream, which is about a Scottish man being convicted of a hate crime, should not have been taken place while those in Scotland are fast asleep. Good point, Stan. There will be another stream which will hopefully remain relevant to the topic of the counter argument to Count Dankula's video being grossly offensive. Another stream regarding it will be scheduled. Stan, the Slap Man. Oops, that's what you already said. I thought Stan commented twice. He did not. That was the same comment. Susan Boots. Your is cute. Can you do it again for me? Was that when was I mumbling this tune? Well, Susan, I'm glad you think that something I did was cute. I can't say anything more than that. I'm simply glad. Everybody's applauding. It's 3 a.m. in the Netherlands. I'm in England. I'm awake. We love you. It's only 8 o'clock in Arkansas. Okay, buddy. Devin Smith, who's in Arkansas. We're talking about Europe, particularly Scotland. Once again, a round of applause for Stan the Slap Man for pointing out what should have been obvious to me. Barring anyone else asking something in the super chat or asking a question that somehow grabs my attention, I'm gonna wrap this stream up in the next minute or so. And since this is where the stream will likely end, this is my opportunity to thank you all, not only for being a part of the stream, but for watching the latest video that was published to this channel, and in general, just for enjoying and appreciating, arguing, keeping up to date, keeping up with the news, engaging in other people's points of view. I know this is kind of preachy and vague, and it sounds like lip service, but I just catch myself always saying this at the end of every stream. Thank you for being subscribed to this channel. Thank you for indulging in the content. Thanks for stopping by for this stream, and thank you for caring about arguments in general. Samuel asked, question, don't know if you skipped or missed it. Hypothetically, if Dankula actually would have held anti-Semitic views, would you have made the video any different? Well, yeah, it would have been different because it wouldn't have explained how his video was comedic in nature. Have a good rest, everyone. Someone's saying super chat go, and someone thinks I sound nervous. Well, I can't say I don't sound nervous, but I'm not nervous. All right, guys. Thank you very much. Goodbye from Argentina. Goodbye, Argentina. And thank you very much for hanging around for this stream. I enjoyed it. I can only hope that you did as well. And one more time, there will be another stream about the counter argument about Count Dankula's video being grossly offensive. There will be another stream in the near future that will be scheduled in the near future for that. So thank you guys very much. Goodbye, good night, and one more time, thank you. Thank you very much for stopping by and watching the latest counter argument on the channel. Take care of yourselves, everyone. Hopefully I'll see you all in the next chat, in the next live stream. Godspeed.